We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the weekend. Welcome back to the normal schedule for Vikings Uncensored. We are here. We are live on a Saturday night pre-game show for tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Central Time in Dublin, Ireland. The Minnesota Vikings are traveling to Ireland to take on Aaron Rodgers and the son of a bitchin' Pittsburgh Steelers. So, yeah.
Nice little comment section already tonight.
Yeah, we
Awesome.
got a lot of
Some fire.
sunny Drew, Doc Proto, Norsevius. Thank you. Absolutely the best intro. And thank you very much, Norsevius. Ant is here. Bob Swede's here. Drew's here. Doc Proto, Dave. Everybody is in the house. Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us.
A lot to chew on this week. Oh, Josh is here. Disgusting enough. Yeah, a lot to chew on this week.
Davey's here. He hasn't been around for a while. Good evening. Welcome back. Yeah, we got there is a lot to talk about this week. We got a lot of news items to hit. Then we will do a final wrap on the blowout against the Bengals last week.
Coming with the jokes already, Norse.
Yeah, well, you know that we got to bring everybody in with the cool ass intro, and they'll stick around for 5 minutes or whatever and watch these two schmucks talk about football here. So,
you know what? We might not have the pop-ups and all the glitz and glam, but I tell you what, we talk football around here with the best of them. So glad to have you all here.
Absolutely. Addison going for.
Oh, I love it, Emmer. I love it. Addison with
McCuddy.
A monster game tomorrow. Yes.
I would not surprise me one bit.
I know. In my opinion, he's got coming up.
And we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But let's roll through the news here first, and then we'll get into, like I said, the wrap-ups and all that other stuff. Of course, we can't start the show out right without saying Green Bay lost to the Browns last week.
I love it. I love it.
I do too. You know, Brunswick and I were talking about this before the show started. You know, maybe Green Bay was exposed a little bit last week. And, you know, of course, you know, it happens every year. Green Bay is always the presumptive Super Bowl favorite.
Oh, nice little tidbit here by Riley.
Porter's are officially out. I know I saw earlier today he was hadn't practiced, so it was kind of questionable. So Porter being out is huge. And,
I wasn't sold on Green Bay coming into the season. I'm just going to put that out there.
I never have been sold on Green Bay. I mean, you know, they went and got freaking Micah Parsons, and it was, oh my God, they're going to win the next 72 Super Bowls in a fucking row.
Yeah, that's just it, Drew. That's just it, Drew.
Yep. Yeah, and that is right. Cleveland has a really good defense. We're going to find that out next week when we play them in London. So we'll talk about that next week. But another non-Vikings related topic, San Francisco 49ers dealt a big blow this week. Nick Bosa was lost for the year to an ACL injury. So think it was the same knee he had the issue with a year or
That's
two
another team
ago.
I'm not really sold on either, to be honest with you, San Fran.
No, and we talked about that, during our season preview. I have San Francisco not even making the playoffs, but
Right,
I mean,
right.
they've started out well, but
I'm more interested to see what's going on at the tail end of October, going into November, when the season really gets into the thick of things. So,
Oh, by the way, in celebration of the Dublin game, I have Irish whiskey here in my drink tonight. So proper 12 because I don't want Conor McGregor to come kick my ass, and I was out of Jameson. So
come end of October, top of November, as Randy Savage always likes to say, Rhino, if you could take it away
the
from
cream
me here.
always rises to the top. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So right around that time is when we see the playoff type caliber teams stepping up to the plate to play. So,
Yep. But anyway, on to the Vikings news type stuff. Some good news, some bad news. We'll go with the good news here first, or Jordan Addison, of course, as was mentioned earlier, officially activated off of his suspension, will play this week.
you know what? What a weight off of his shoulders. Finally, just to put this a year and a half coming to be able to just be like, you know what? It's over with. I can go back to really playing football without having that lingering over my head and behind my shoulders.
And hopefully he's learned his lesson and doesn't do anything fucking stupid.
I truly believe with the culture that we got going on here in the locker room, I think his, troublemaking days are behind him.
I hope so.
Really
especially because he's going to be looking at a contract extension here pretty soon. And
it sounds like we're in on that. It sounds like the organization is in on it.
Yeah, so, that's what I've heard too. I think I don't remember if it was Doogie Wolfson or somebody this week was talking about that
they're already crunching numbers. And you know what? Now is the time to get a deal done, Rhino. It's always, and we know this.
Get it done earlier rather than later. Yeah.
Yes, with Jefferson, we waited a little bit but with guys like Darisaw, where you can get that extension in before the fourth year kicks in.
Well,
that way the market's down. You're not playing the market like that so much.
With what the Darisaw effect from last week, Darisaw is already underpaid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point, and it's looking more and more like a great deal. So, Darisaw was huge coming in, and it was evident.
Yep,
having that blind side with the top left tackle in the league out there.
But anyway, to finish the Addison thing off, in order to make room for Jordan Addison, wide receiver Tim Jones was released and then subsequently signed back to the practice squad.
Good.
Lucky Jackson and Scrabble, Xavier Valade, were both released from the practice squad. And then we signed running back Corey Kinder, formerly of the San Francisco 49ers, to that practice squad.
I think Lucky Jackson's days are done in Minnesota now. I think that's pretty much.
I think his luck ran out now, but
right. Wish him the best, but
yeah. Now, just a separate note on that: if we're still in the mood to have another Jackson, Tristan Jackson got released from the Cardinals last week, so he's out there.
That's somebody I'd be looking to bring in on the practice squad. I've always been a big Tristan Jackson fan, much more so than Lucky Jackson, to be honest with you. Tristan had a good couple of preseasons, and he made the roster.
I like Tristan. I mean, I had nothing against Lucky Jackson, but I like Tristan Jackson. I mean, and he's been another one of those guys that was, it's always been the preseason warrior kind of guy, but.
But that wide receiver room is starting to get a little crowded now that you got Addison coming back. I mean, now it's going to be really interesting seeing Thielen, Addison, Jefferson, and then Naylor, who's been coming around.
Well, and the way they're talking, Naylor has surpassed Thielen, so Thielen's going to be wide receiver 4 for. I mean, they'll bounce back and forth depending upon packages, but
that's what. Those last 3 and 4 is interchangeable. I mean, you just mix Thielen and Naylor in there, in the slot or on the outside. It's good having that dynamic in the wide receiver room where you can have a good third and fourth option. So
absolutely. But then bad news, left guard Donovan Jackson had surgery on Monday morning on a wrist injury that he suffered against Atlanta. Now, he played the game against Cincinnati with that injury. The doctors had said that there was not
no way he could injure it more. Right.
Yep. And I was talking to somebody on Twitter earlier this week, and they're like, well, why didn't he have the surgery before that? Well,
he was probably testing it out.
No, the reason why was because Blake Brandel was the backup left tackle, and Darisaw was on a pitch count. So with Brandel backing up both positions, they wanted to keep, Donovan Jackson active, and he played well with a bad wrist. I mean,
You know what though? I'm going to give Brandel, some credit here. He's a good quality backup, but especially when it comes to that left guard position, he's not going to be much of a fall off going from the rookie and Jackson, who has an extremely high ceiling, to Brandel, who's got those reps in already as a pro.
Well, and we saw it last year. Brandel played really well when Darisaw was next to him. It was just when
they switched over to Cam Robinson.
Cam Robinson came in, then Brandel fell
Brandel
off.
did play really well next to Darisaw last year. That's a good point too. Yes.
So they did not put Jackson on the IR. So basically, they're hoping that he'll come back for the Philly game after the bye.
That bye week is going to come at the perfect time, and I think coming out the bye, we're going to be fully healthy, and things will start to get really interesting after that.
Yep.
What about my guy School? I've never claimed to be a Schooly guy. What the fuck, Ant?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's ever claimed to be a Schooly guy. I don't know where you're pulling that quote out of.
I don't know, but yeah, no, he can. Very good point there, Drew. I mean, we have yet, we spent all this money on the offensive line, and we have yet to play one snap with the quote unquote starting five. That hopefully happens in Philadelphia. Now Ryan Kelly is back this week. But Juergens played pretty well last week. I mean, he struggled a little bit in week 2, but I will give him credit. He played pretty decent last week. But here's a couple other guys. Now, we made a conscious effort, like we were just saying, to not only upgrade the offensive line, but also to upgrade the defensive line in the offseason. Here's some numbers for you. Through 3 weeks, Levi Drake Rodriguez and Jalen Redmond both rank in the top 22 defensive linemen in the league per Pro Football Focus. And the Vikings' interior defensive line as a whole has 29 pressures through 3 games.
And they're going to get even better as the season goes on.
But right now, that's the third best in the NFL. I think 32 is the best. Something like that, somewhere right around there.
That's a great. Yes, I agree. Norris. I think KOC is going to look back at this last preseason as a learning.
Yeah.
A little bit of a learning.
I understand. I understand why we didn't play some of the guys in preseason, but it's showing that we really should have.
Yeah,
and
especially
give them at least give them a quarter in all 3 games or something.
I mean, I think it would have went a long way, and we'll get more into this, I think, later on as we speak here. But I think it would have went a long way in giving JJ more reps in the preseason.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, he definitely
needed them.
Yep. But Disgusting Act is very disappointed in School.
I'm still pissed that Ant said he's my guy. I never once mentioned that Schooly was my guy. Yeah. Trash.
Yeah, it's I had higher hopes for him than what he's had, but he's been nothing short of hot garbage.
I've had higher hopes for Rouse than I'd ever have Schooly coming in. So
yeah, I don't know. That School so far is the worst signing in the off season.
Yeah.
But with that's a good transition. We'll roll into the quick wrap up of the Bengals game last week, and we'll talk about probably the best free agent signing by the Minnesota Vikings this year. That is one Isaiah Rodgers.
Perfect PFF grade.
He earned a perfect 99.9 PFF grade. First player to ever achieve that in the history of PFF, which goes back to 2006. Currently also has a 90.9 rating for the season, which is the best in the NFL.
We've got a lot of high-graded players there on defense, honestly, on the season, so which is good. And I think we've only seen the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this defense. There you go. I was just going to click that. It's funny that you brought that up because I was just going to click that one too. But with this defense, I don't even think we've seen the full context. And it's funny just the wizardry that Brian Flores puts into the scheme.
Oh,
I mean, you don't know what he's doing, what guys are doing. They're showing motions before coming at you with a zero blitz and going into the zone. It's just nuts.
I've got that on my notes. That one play in particular last week, and I think it was Alec Lewis from the Athletic that posted this on Twitter X. But on that Andrew Van Ginkel sack, it was at the Bengals 27. The Grenard got in there, but he whiffed, and then Van Ginkel came in and got the sack.
Right.
Prior to the snap on that, the Vikings defense showed a cover 0, a cover 1, a Tampa 2, and man coverage all before the snap on that one play.
Here's the rest of the NFL, and here's Flores' fucking mind as far as the defense goes. You got the NFL right here, most defenses, and then you got the Flores defense right here, and everybody else in between. So,
yeah,
Flores is on another level as far as it goes this year, being in the system for 3 years, with all these players, and just being a wizard with what he's doing on defense.
Yeah, it's. I mean, when you're starting to confuse the shit out of people like that, they don't know what's coming, and that's this whole thing with Brian Flores, and everybody's talking about him. You know what? Back the Brinks truck up to this guy. Give him a assistant head coach / of defense or whatever you want to do. Just keep this guy here running the defense.
Right. And like you and I have said in the past couple of seasons, that this Flores is going to go where he wants to go, and where he feels extremely wanted. And I think he's going to be patient with it all. I think he likes it here. He doesn't mind just being a DC here, because in all reality, it's like Zimmer used to let his offensive coordinators basically coach the offense. That's kind of what O'Connell's got here going on with the defense, where he kind of lets Flores blossom on defense and let him really run everything on that side of the ball, where KOC focuses more on the offensive side of things.
Right. But the big difference is we have
communication.
We have the mad scientist Brian Flores instead of coloring book Clint Kubiak. But
right, and the communication and culture is completely different as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I wanted to kind of go on this too as well. It reminds me of a thing that I remember the great Drew Brunting also saying. There's always that one game in the Vikings schedule where they just shit the bed. Mm-hmm. This happens to be, I think, one of those games where you just shit the bed against Atlanta. It wasn't an easy task playing in primetime TV from week one
missing half the offensive line. I mean, we were down to our third left tackle.
Right, and then basically your rookie starting quarterback dealing with his wife's pregnancy on the side, and then practicing and having all that go through his brain as well. It was just a recipe for, what exactly happened.
Well, and Kevin O'Connell actually kind of alluded to some of that as much in press conference earlier this week with talking about the fact that, McCarthy needing reps, and he didn't get reps, because he was out for having his child, which, nobody's going to fault him for skipping practice to go, for the birth of his child. But
right. McCarthy had a lot going on that week, and I think that had it showed a lot in his play. And like we alluded, he's basically a rookie coming into this year as far as live reps in an NFL field goes.
Right. So, he absolutely, yeah.
So
yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, that's a very good point, Drew, and we'll have some more of those tasty tidbits when we get into the preview here.
And Carson Wentz did a hell of a job coming in.
He did,
quarterback and doing exactly what
he came in and did what a backup quarterback is supposed to do. He didn't do anything stupid. He, sustained some drives,
made some good
plays.
And you know what? I didn't see one head scratching play out of Carson Wentz last weekend.
He held the ball a little too long. A couple of those sacks that he took, but where he probably should have just thrown it away. But
no. What are you doing? What are you doing?
It wasn't a Nick Mullins getting sacked and just going and throwing the ball up in the air, kind of stupid.
He played a good game in the purple and gold for his first spot there.
Yep.
In relief duty. So. Absolutely. I'm excited to see what he can do moving forward too, with more time in the system. So,
Just a couple other things with the Bengals, and then we'll move on here. But Jordan Mason, as his first trot out as RB1, 16 carries, 116 yards, and also got into the end zone, which was yeah, Doc, you're absolutely right on that one. Absolutely right. Van Ginkel only played 8 snaps last week, and of those 8 snaps, 2 of them were sacks.
Insane.
That
Dallas
was not,
Turner had himself a game last week, too, but they continue with
right.
Van Ginkel.
Yeah, but Drew had asked this on the Gallerhorn page that we're on Facebook. We're a part of here earlier in the week, is if that was a record or not. And I looked it up. It is not a record, but there are, I think, 5 players in NFL history who have had similar statistics like that. So
records breaking records, huh?
Yeah,
broke a record last week for the longest field goal in Vikings history at home, and then broke a record the week before for the longest field goal in Chicago Bears Soldier Field history.
So Will Reichert hit 62-yarder at the end of the half. That is the longest field goal in Vikings history.
And it doesn't help that Parker Romo came out against us in week 2 and nailed all those field goals, and then the following week goes out and goes 1 for 5 on field goals. So, I mean, there's that too.
Yeah, Romo had a little bit of an extra, I think, deal against us just because we let him go to bring Reichert back again. But
yeah, that's a great comment, Brian. I agree.
Yep. I do one more thing I want to talk about with the Bengals before we move on. Last week we called out TJ Hawkinson. We posed the question: do we have a TJ Hawkinson?
He must have watched the show.
I think he must have, because he did respond. Had his first touchdown since 2023 regular season touchdown. He did have one in the playoffs last year. But
I mean, it goes into saying, not having to stay back and block for fucking
and that's the big thing. They were holding him in to block when School was playing left tackle, but now with Darisaw back, he was able to go out into, running routes and everything.
Norris, great comment. And we had talked about, at least I did a couple of games back with the 2-step, 3-step drops. Yeah, they had a lot more of those for Wentz coming into the Bengals.
And I think, whenever McCarthy comes back, whether it's next week, whether it's against Philly, whenever, they need to get some of that more implemented in me. Just, 1, 2, bam, and hit those.
Well, so before we go into the Steelers game, and since we're kind of talking about it at the moment, and this is a lot of, you're going to have a lot of Vikings fans divided here for a little bit, depending on how Wentz comes out and performs tomorrow. But what do you think? What do you think we do here, Rhino? I think you know what I'm talking about as far as the quarterback position goes.
It's J.J. McCarthy's team right now. I mean, last week is 2 games with McCarthy is a very small sample size.
It is.
Again, he led that epic comeback in the fourth quarter against the Bears. Week 2, again, extenuating circumstances, the birth of his child, all that other stuff. Down to your third left tackle, your backup center who'd never played an NFL snap.
I think if you're a KOC, you got to play this the right way.
You do.
You got to play this the right way, and there is a right way to play this.
Yep.
McCarthy's here on his rookie contract. He's got the next at least 3 years, here in Minnesota if we pick up his 5th-year option.
Yep.
And the way I look at it is,
we have a Steelers fan in the chat. Good evening, welcome.
Nice. Good evening. I love getting those other guys back.
We're all about talking good. As long as you're civil, we welcome you to the chat. Welcome you to the show. Thank you for joining us. And
I love it, Drew. Yes, exactly. And I hope JJ understands that. And the thing is right now is KOC needs to be transparent with JJ. Honest communication, the culture that he preaches, he needs to preach right now with JJ. And JJ needs to understand, hey, I am only 22 years old. I am under contract for the next at least 2 seasons, and then with the 3rd year or the 5th year option. And you know what? His time to come is going to come again. And you have to pound that into McCarthy's head. I'm a firm believer in JJ McCarthy, into the draft. but the kid is only 22 years old, playing the hardest position in all of sports.
With very limited experience.
With very limited experience. The talent is there. And if Kevin O'Connell could play this right, and I believe that Kevin O'Connell will, is just be honest with the kid. Mm-hmm. Lay everything out like you're looking at it and seeing it. And if Carson Wentz goes in and he is the steady hand, I think you put, when JJ's fully healthy, comes in as the backup until things start to fall apart under Wentz.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing, if he goes out and
don't make it into a schism. It doesn't need to be a schism. No. It doesn't have to be.
No, but if Wentz goes out and lights it up the next 2 weeks, you give him. I think you give him that start against
McCarthy
Philly.
McCarthy will have an opportunity to step up to the plate again. I promise you that. If not again this year, if Wentz lights it up, McCarthy will have to understand that his time will come again, and then you just add to that chip on the shoulder. So when he does come back, maybe we see a different McCarthy.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens.
I love the kid. I wish
I do
the
too.
kid. I hope and pray
and I still believe JJ McCarthy is going to be the quarterback that takes this team to a Super Bowl victory. I do believe that. Whether that's this year, whether it's next year, whether it's 2 years from now, we don't know. I don't know, but again, I just want to win.
And I believe a lot of the struggles with McCarthy, one good quarter out of 8 quarters, it goes back to not playing him enough in the preseason and getting him ready for that.
And again, to be fair, that fourth quarter against the Falcons, when it was still basically a 1-score game, McCarthy should not have been out there that fourth quarter on that bum ankle like that.
Right.
They should have pulled him off the field. If they'd have put Wentz in at that point in time, we probably would have won that game.
And Rhino, before the show started, I told you, if there's one thing being a Vikings fan is always to expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
As far as in all the years I've been a Vikings fan, it's to expect the unexpected. It's a long season, man. It's a long season. And I've been through the ins and outs with this Vikings organization since I was a wee lad. So, I mean, it's a fun ride, and just
it's fun. It's excruciating. It's frustrating. It's all of the above.
But like I said, if there's a coach in this league that can handle the situation right, it's Kevin O'Connell.
I agree. But anyway, with that, let's roll in to the preview of tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. The Minnesota Vikings travel across the pond to a city that the Vikings actually founded, Dublin, Ireland, to take on Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. We brought this up a little bit. We're talking about it earlier, prior to starting in our pre-show production meeting. There is only one starting quarterback in the league who is ranked lower than Aaron Rodgers, and that is Bo Nix. AJ, good evening. Rodgers played okay, all right against the Jets week 1. Gary. Last couple weeks, not so much. Gary, good evening. The offense over there, not pumping so much. We played Rodgers last year in England when he was with the Jets, and Flores kind of flummoxed him and pounded the crap out of him. I look to see the same kind of thing coming up this
agree.
weekend.
At a whole nother level. This defense is better than last year's defense.
Because we have interior pressure off of our
defensive
line now.
For as worried as people were going into the season about the defensive backs, they have been fucking lights out this year.
Yeah, I mean, with Isaiah Rodgers being
ascending, Rhino.
Yes,
is a good word for that. Yes, with Isaiah Rodgers ascending in the league as a shutdown guy.
Yep. Early start. Brian, it's 8:30 for us tomorrow. I believe. Better be 8:30 because otherwise I'm going to have to set my clock a little earlier. But
this is a hell of a defensive back group. for the Vikings. Like I said, with all the question marks going in, knowing that Flores trusted in this group, I'm glad I believed in Flores and what he saw out of these defensive backs. Because for the first 3 games, he's been pretty much spot on with these guys. So, and I think like I said before, I think Isaiah Rodgers is just starting to ascend. And what he did last week against Cincinnati is just going to boost that confidence level in Rodgers, and he's a guy that belongs on the field for 100% of the snaps. So,
Drew with a great point here. Rodgers threw 6 games when pressured, 6 for 22 with a 32.0 quarterback rating. Vikings are second in pressures.
Should we just get into our keys then with that comment right there?
Well, I mean, we got a few more things here. I want to hit the injury report here real quick. Of course, Andrew
what
Van.
Fucking bar is open at 6:30 in the morning.
The bar in my garage is open at 6:30. But a couple things here. Of course,
Iron Man from Pittsburgh with the question. Yes.
Do we believe in?
I believe in anybody who Kevin O'Connell puts under the center because you got the quarterback whisperer leading them through the game.
I believe in Carson Wentz enough to keep the ship steady until McCarthy's ready to come back.
I think Carson Wentz has still got it, especially with Kevin O'Connell driving the car.
And again, I'm trying not to be biased here because I've always had the Carson Wentz bias because he's a North Dakota State quarterback, and I went to North Dakota State. You know, all that other yada yada. You know, all the championships, 10 championships, and all that other stuff. But yes. I like Wentz. I've always been a fan of Wentz, and I think he's, as long as he can stay healthy. I mean, and in this system with these weapons, he can absolutely. I mean, he can have a Sam Darnold-esque season.
I still think there's some untapped shit there with Carson Wentz as far as the thrower goes that we haven't seen yet in the NFL.
Yep. Drew, just the exact point I was just making.
Yes. I still think there's some untapped shit going on with Carson Wentz there that, like I alluded to last week, Rhino, this dude is playing for another contract.
He is. You know, because if he plays well this year, it's going to be we're just talking a Sam Darnold type thing. He's going to get a deal to go be. I mean, he's only 32 years old. He's still in the prime of his career for quarterbacks.
Yeah, 32 is not old for a quarterback.
No, he's got a good 5-6 years in the league left.
Yes. Now for running back, that's a little bit long in the tooth, you know. So
DK Metcalf has 2 routes and 9. You're not wrong, Norris.
And he can't get separation. He's not good at getting separation.
Yep. But I want to run through the injury report here real quick. Of course, we found out that Van Ginkel's not going to go. Jonathan Allen and Christian Darrisaw are both off the injury report and a full go. Josh Metellus, Jalen Redmond.
Was it Mason Rudolph? Is he the backup in Seattle? Or not Seattle, but Pittsburgh?
In Pittsburgh, yeah, I think so. And Ryan Kelly were both full goals. They should all play tomorrow. Ben Urasek also will not play, tight end 3. So on the other side, Ant said earlier, Joey Porter's not going to play. I know he was questionable. Jonnu Smith is questionable. I think
there's another big name on that list too. That Hightower. Was that what his name was? Highsmith not playing.
Alonzo Highsmith, but it could be.
I believe he's out too.
Yeah. If I were you guys, I'd play the kid. He hasn't practicing yet with his ankle, Iron Man. So we'll cross that bridge when we come back to it. Yeah, Highsmith is down also. Yeah.
Right.
See what else do I have? Yeah, that's basically it for the injuries. Hightower is out. Yeah, wasn't Hightower was the guy on Police Academy, the big, tall dude.
Makes sense. Hightower, yeah. But Hightower is a big piece of that is Pittsburgh defense at linebacker there.
Highsmith, not Hightower. Hightower, Police Academy. Highsmith, Pittsburgh Steelers.
You're right.
Once he's Iron Man. I'm not going to disagree with you. and we
I
talked
think you
about
have to let it play out. I think you got to let it play out.
We'll see. What happens when we get to that point. Like I said, if Wentz, just kind of steadies the ship and everything else, then yes, absolutely, you bring him back. But now if Wentz goes out and balls out the next 2 weeks, throw us for 300 plus yards and
Then
3
you ride the wave.
touchdowns.
Then you ride the wave, and you just, like I said, we got the best coach in the league that I think could handle the situation the right way.
Yep. Yeah, Bubba Smith played Hightower in Police Academy. Yep. Why is Tomlin not playing Caleb Johnson?
Because he made that fucking stupid mistake on the kickoff a couple weeks back.
Yeah, he got in the doghouse over that.
That's exactly it. He's in the doghouse.
And that's why he's got to work his way back into it. But
that running back stable over there in Pittsburgh isn't very good.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, if we don't have to face Caleb Johnson, I'm okay with that.
That offense is not looking very good in Pittsburgh either, by the way. 5 takeaways last week, and all they could come up with was like what was the score last week? 21 points
Something
on offense.
Yeah, Pitt 30th.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great little tidbit.
And with that, Drew, that's a good segue into our keys to the game. And I'll start this week because I have something to piggyback off of Drew's here.
Alrighty.
Pittsburgh Steelers defense is currently ranked 28th in the league, 26th against the pass, 26th against the run, 22nd in scoring, 20th in red zone, and 28th on third down. Coincidentally, on third and long this year for the Minnesota Vikings, they are opposing offenses are 1 for 18 on 3rd and 7+ this year.
And that third down they did convert it sucked because it was a run play. It was like on 3rd and 12 and they fucking converted, but it got reversed after review.
He shouldn't have converted. That was that stupid play that they had, and then 2 plays later, Carson Wentz almost got his head taken off, and they didn't call that one again. But
that was bullshit. Yeah.
So anyway, my keys to the game. Christian Darrisaw versus TJ Watt is going to be an interesting matchup.
Darrisaw usually plays pretty well against these elite edge rushers.
He does. And
shut down Hendrickson last week.
Yeah, Trey Hendrickson was a non-factor last week, and that was key. Stay away from the haggis. Yeah, that's Scottish. Stay out of the pub at 3 a.m. because you've got an 8 o'clock game tomorrow morning.
I like how Rogers said that he was looking forward to the Guinness. That's the only thing he was looking forward to when he went to Ireland. Well, I hope he's in there getting wasted the night before.
Yeah.
Or he's in there drinking away his sorrows after the game.
He's having a darkness retreat at a castle down the way.
Right.
My other things, turn Jordan Mason loose this week. Is that they're not good against the run either. And Mason basically obliterated the Bengals defense last week, and he can do the same thing to Pittsburgh this week. The other two.
Love it, Gary. Love it.
Yeah, he'll need a drink. He might need a drink during the game.
Yeah, it's just it too. He has not.
His arm strength is gone.
It's gone. His velocity on his ball is gone.
It wasn't that great last year, and it's worse this year.
Yeah, he's not slinging it down the field like he used to back in the day at all. So, yeah, he's looking his age, that's for sure.
Yep. And my last key to the game, well, I have 2 more. Again, pressure the shit out of Rodgers. What we did to him against the Jets when we played the Jets last year, crank that up to 11.
You know what? It'd be great if we could get home without having to rush more than 4.
Yeah, but I mean, Flores can't help himself from blitzing. I mean, you can't blitz Rodgers too much because he can still burn you on that. But if we can especially if we can collapse the pocket inside with Hargrave and Allen and LDR and Redmond, Rodgers is going to be in for a long day. He's gonna have that frickin' look on his face like in the first quarter. And that's the thing.
I think Rodgers is scared, to be honest with you.
I don't think he's looking forward to this. I know that.
No, I don't think so either.
because he remembers the game we played against him last year, and
if he already has that little sliver of doubt in his brain, I mean, it's we can be feasting tomorrow. So,
yep. And then the last thing I'll mention, and I'll let you hit yours. Take those quick throws tomorrow. Hit those crossing routes, hit the quick slants, hit some of the screens. Last week versus the Bengals, Carson Wentz was 11 for 15 with 130 yards and 2 touchdowns and 138.9 quarterback rating on those quick throws.
I don't think he could have managed the game any better than what he did last week against the Bengals. So,
all right, the floor is yours, Mr. Brunswick. Let's hear your keys.
On defense, you got to play those matchups. Broderick Jones at left tackle has been a fucking revolving door there. Attack that left side of that offensive line. If you're going to want to get pressures, it's going to come on that side.
I think Grenard's in for a big game this week, I think.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Also, shut that short passing game down of Pittsburgh, because there ain't nothing else they're going to be able to go to if you can shut that down right away. Their run game is something to behold as far as how ugly it looks over there in Pittsburgh for a run game, which is unusual for a Pittsburgh Steelers team, because it usually goes by how well the run goes, but that's been horrible this year as far as the rushing attack goes against Pittsburgh. But yeah, shut down that short passing game of Pittsburgh's, and they're going to be really looking for ways to move the ball if they can't do that.
Because as we just mentioned, they can't go deep. So
exactly. And like I said, go after that left side of that offensive line. Jones has just been shit at left tackle for that Pittsburgh Steelers team. The left side in particular. On offense, the game, honestly, this game in particular starts with Jordan Mason and ends with Jordan Mason. And then everything else in between is the filler. So you start it with Jordan Mason, get him going. Then you look to open up the play action pass game. And then you end the game with Jordan Mason. So that's huge to me. Also, distribute the ball very well to all the receivers. I think Jordan Addison is in for a humongous monster game here, coming back from suspension. I think it's a huge, weight off his shoulders, getting that all behind him and just knowing, hey, all I have ahead of me now is football.
Yep.
All I have ahead of me now is football. I think Jordan Addison joining up and really finishing this trio of receivers that we have in Addison and Jefferson and Thielen and Naylor and Hawkinson, distribute the ball. Get it all over the place. Keep that Pittsburgh Steelers defense guessing. But yes, the game starts with Jordan Mason and ends with Jordan Mason this week.
This is a really interesting stat Drew just popped up here. Pittsburgh allows teams to get into the red zone on 43% of their drives.
I mean, I envision the same type of game as we had last weekend this weekend. I think we can really get that point differential for us after this game will be up there really high. I look for I know our predictions aren't until later on in the episode, but I'm thinking it's going to be like a 31-17 game, 31-13 type of game.
And to that point, Dan Orlovsky on earlier this week, I don't know what show he was on, but
yes,
they were talking about some of the games that could get out of hand in a quick, and the first one that Orlovsky brought up was Minnesota versus Pittsburgh. He said this could get ugly, and it could get ugly really quick.
Right, and I believe
in the Vikings' favor. Of course, that being said, it's going to be a 2-point game at the end of the fucking thing, and we're going to be chewing glass in the fourth quarter. But
yeah, like I said, I look at this game being much like the Cincinnati game last week, even with Aaron Rodgers playing quarterback. At this point, Aaron Rodgers is washed. We knew this 2 years ago.
Well, and I forget who posted this on Twitter X. So if you're watching, I apologize for not properly crediting you on it. But somebody posted this earlier in the week that said Brian Flores is going to very quickly this week prove why we did not sign Aaron Rodgers in the offseason.
That's a good point. And like I said, we've only seen the tip of the iceberg as far as this defense goes. This is going to be, by the time midseason rolls around, this defense is going to be the number one defense in the league.
Yep. Gary, I believe it is Mason Rudolph.
I think it's Mason Rudolph, but I did hear another name somewhere, but I can't remember whose it was. So,
yeah. While you're finishing your stuff, I'll look here really quick. So, discuss amongst yourselves, and I'll check here really quick.
Oh, I love what I seen out of Xavier Scott last week too. I love the dynamic that he brings to the running game as well. With as far as Aaron Jones goes, let him sit out and get healthy and let Mason and Xavier Scott take over the majority of carries on this offense. And the fresh legs in Scott, you can just see it as well.
Mason Rudolph is the backup quarterback.
Oh, he is. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and their running backs, Caleb Johnson is down to 3 right now. Jalen Warren, who was thrown on the injury report earlier this week, is their starter. Kenneth Gainwell is their second guy.
Yeah, there's none of the running backs are anything to write home about.
I like me some Caleb Johnson. I do
big
too,
fan, but they're not giving him the opportunities there.
No, so.
And I believe that's because he's in the doghouse.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, this is another good point. Yeah, if you want to see a team try to dink and dunk on us, watch Pittsburgh tomorrow. Like I said, you shut down that quick passing game at Pittsburgh, and it's going to be a long day for the Steelers fans.
Tomlin will never be fired based up. Yeah, okay. Skylar Thompson, I think he must be on the practice squad. Iron Man. Yeah, we have. I forgot we have a Pittsburgh fan in here. Tomlin. And that's the thing with Pittsburgh is they are almost patient to a fault with their coaches. I mean, they've had 3 head coaches in my lifetime, and I'm 50 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see Tomlin losing his job unless it's like you're looking at like a 3-14 type of season.
Which they're not. I mean, Tomlin's going to get them close to 500 unless Rodgers completely falls apart. I do have him.
Tomlin's Mr. 500, so.
But Tomlin has never had a losing record, but I think Rodgers gets him that losing record this year. I really
believe it too. I believe it too.
I think they're going to be like 7-10. They're going to be like 7-10 this year, I think, or 8-9 maybe.
Oh, the walls are cracking already.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean,
you know what? The walls started. So. I believe that's going to be the case in Pittsburgh as well.
They sold their soul to the devil this year to get Aaron Rodgers because they have nothing at quarterback.
I love our stable of quarterbacks that we got right now. And like I said, I don't foresee a schism or a quarterback controversy if KOC handles it the right way. You know what? Brosner looked good coming out last week against Cincinnati. The one pass that got dropped by Thielen was right on the money.
Mm-hmm.
Was right on the money. Thielen just dropped it.
Yeah. So, and I'm still going to maintain. We talked about this in the pre. I think Carson Wentz was probably Kevin O'Connell's first choice as backup quarterback, but Wentz wanted to hold off to see if any starting jobs opened up. So they went and traded for Sam Howell, and then Sam Howell proved that he couldn't run anything more than something drawn in crayon. So
when Wentz was at the top of his game, he was having MVP like type of season. So,
but
if it wasn't for
his rookie year, 2017,
yes,
that he would have won MVP had he not gotten hurt. And of course, we all know how it turned out with Nick Foles and yada yada.
And what a better place to go than to play for Kevin O'Connell to really get that confidence up again to where it was at that point.
Exactly. And on top of that, we have the Adam Thielen story that everybody's heard 9,742 times, but we also have that with Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz grew up a Vikings fan. Carson Wentz grew up in Bismarck, North Dakota, was a Vikings fan, went to North Dakota State. He is NDSU and Fargo are 40 miles from Detroit Lakes where Adam Thielen grew up. So it's kind of the same thing.
Brian, with this comment, I think he does as far as being able to complement the number 1 and number 2 guys. As far as being a number 2 receiver, I don't know. And with the way things have gone the first 3 weeks of this season, have we really seen the best out of anybody on offense yet so far? No. Up until, like I said, I think not playing any of the starters in the preseason really hurt this team to start out the year.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
Yeah, and I agree too, Davey. I agree too.
Yeah. And to the point of Gary here, I mean, look at two of the top quarterbacks in the league this year, both graduates of the Kevin O'Connell Quarterback Reclamation School, Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones. If you had that on your bingo card, you let me know, and I will give you a prize. We have some of the prize vault stuff sitting down here. That once again, our buddies Drew and Ruby were so graciously donated to us. We still haven't figured out how we're going to give them away during the season here yet, but we have a few things here that we will give away. So,
and I think we found out last week just how important Christian Jerisaw is to this team, and how
oh God,
important
yes,
and how important having
absolutely.
Harrison Smith on the defense,
Well,
quarterbacking things is.
Harrison Smith tipped that pass that Isaiah Rogers
It's to
intercepted.
kick off
Took back.
the route to kick off the route of turnovers in the game. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and Pittsburgh was able to get 5 turnovers last week too, but like I said, they were only able to scrounge up, I think, 17 to 20 points out of them. So
Yeah, we got 5 turnovers and scored 48 points. So yeah,
exactly. So once this team really gets rolling on all cylinders, which I think is going to become the end of October, rolling in November, we're going to be sitting just fine, and we're going to have to be
well,
with that
I mean,
gauntlet of fucking teams coming up after the bye week.
last week showed how good this team really can be.
Exactly. And like I said, I don't think we've seen the best of this defense yet, and that's scary.
Right. Because they've looked pretty damn good. I mean, they've kept us in, and we look back to that Falcons game, the only touchdown they gave up, they let Atlanta score because they needed to get the ball back.
And I think
Kevin O'Connell said straight out, we let them score because we needed the ball.
Right. And I think, you got, like I said numerous times in this show, you got KOC running things around here. As long as he stays honest with JJ, the kid's still 22 years old. He's got plenty. His time will come again where he will be able to show what he has.
It will probably be this year.
And it more than likely will be this
unless
year.
Carson Wentz continues. I mean,
unless Wentz goes back 98 season like Randall Cunningham did.
If we go back to the future and Carson Wentz played like he did in 2017, then you obviously keep playing him. But JJ McCarthy's a long-term answer. Even if he doesn't get back in,
and it's something that
the practice reps that he's going to get this year that he did not get last year because he was injured.
And it's not that. And Kevin O'Connell has to say this, to JJ McCarthy. It's not that we don't want you to play. It's that Carson Wentz is just playing that good. If that's the case. And it's all about transparency between O'Connell and McCarthy.
That's what you tell JJ. You are still the future of this team. But right now, I mean, and again, in 2 weeks we may be speaking an entirely different thing. If Wentz goes out and completely craps the bed the next 2 weeks, then McCarthy's back as soon as he's ready. But if
McCarthy's already been rooting on Wentz from the sideline. I mean, there's tweets out there already, with McCarthy happy that Wentz is leading. And that's what you want to see out of your future guy, too, at that position, It's all about the team. And that's what it always has been with McCarthy. It's all about the team. So,
and this is a really good point, and I think that Kevin O'Connell's kind of left that door open for this.
And we talked about that last week about the revenge game against Philly. Do you start McCarthy there if Wentz is rolling, or no? I think you go with that. I think games right now.
If Wentz looks good these next 2 games, I think he starts against Philly. But let's not put the cart ahead of the horse. We'll see. We're going to go like Kevin O'Connell says. We're going to win. We're going to try to go 1-0 for the week, and that's
right.
We'll worry about next week. We'll worry about Philly.
And there is a luxury in having, McCarthy only being 22. I mean, he's still that's a virgin in the quarterback, in the quarterback of the NFL.
He was drafted last year, and he's still the youngest quarterback in the league.
Yes. So I still fully believe in JJ McCarthy. I love him. If you guys watch the show, you know how much I love the kid going into the draft, and when we drafted him, how much I want to see him succeed. But with that being said, it's not like he's 25, 26, and 30. You're not knowing what you're right.
He's not Carson Wentz's age. I mean, and Carson Wentz is only 32. But
and Kevin O'Connell has said it before. It's not these young guys failing the organization. It's the organization failing these young guys. So he wants to do it the right way, and make sure that. He also said, he's going to make sure McCarthy is ready to go. That when he does play again, that he's completely 100% healthy, and that that he's not going to be a liability to this team. That he's going to be ready to go.
Right, because and the catch-22 that you're in is if Wentz plays good the next 2 weeks, and then you bring back McCarthy against Philly and he plays like shit, then then you've got a whole can of worms that you really don't need to get into right now. I don't.
Well, and this is just it, Davey. Is I think a lot of teams in this league right now are hoping that we go with JJ over Wentz because of the inexperience behind the center.
Yeah.
So. But you know what? We've seen the playmaking ability out of McCarthy. It's there, Rhino. It's there.
Oh yeah.
The kid can play football. The kid can win some games.
When the freaking.
I think it's an aberration. I think
the red glow in his eyes, and he freaking went beast mode.
I think that Falcons game was an aberration. I really do. The kid is a baller. He's going to overcome whatever adversity that gets thrown in front of him.
Oh, absolutely he is. But anyway, with that, let's roll into the regionally well-known, fairly famous, and sometimes asked for by a few people every week, the predictions segment, where we pick not only the Minnesota Vikings game for the week, but also our competitors in the NFC North. So with that, we'll go. Norris has a question here. Just wonder how bad Van Ginkel's neck is. That's a very good question.
That's intriguing to me, yes.
Yeah. Hopefully it's nothing too serious because we need Van Ginkel. I mean, I think Dallas.
This gives Dallas Turner an opportunity to show what he's got. And last week was a good start.
When he started, he played a lot last week and had a really good game. He played against the Falcons, had a really good game.
And if we're seeing that now, the more he plays, the better this kid's gonna get. It's not like he's having shitty games right now. It's not like he's having shitty games.
No, he's
getting better
not.
Every fucking time he steps on the field.
Yep. So this is another prime opportunity. Yes. Just Bob, don't even say that.
Yeah. Danielle Hunter. That's some Zimmer shit right there.
Yeah, right. But anyway, let's start with the predictions for this week. Starting off Sunday at noon, the Cleveland Browns travel to the Motor City to take on the Detroit Lions. I will give you the first opportunity at this one, Lance.
Okay, who is that? The Lions versus Cleveland?
Browns come to Detroit.
I was telling Rhino before the show, I would love to see Cleveland do exactly what they did to the Packers to the Lions. The Lions are coming around now. They're coming around. They're looking pretty good. That win against Baltimore, I respect that. That's a big win for Detroit. Right,
it
there.
Was.
I thought for sure the Ravens were gonna take it to the fucking graveyard with the Lions, but the Lions played a hell of a game against Baltimore. And let's hope we can beat the Lions, at least once this year. I'm hoping we can sweep them, but that Lions team is starting to look like if the Lions team is coming out and beating Baltimore, who is one of the better teams in the league, then it's going to be us and the Lions at the end of the season again this year.
Yeah. And
but I really hope that Cleveland defense can. That Myles Garrett is just a man amongst boys.
Oh, he is absolutely.
You just look at that. He is like a specimen, just like Hunter was for us.
Mm-hmm.
The physical fucking specimen, and just all the athleticism. He's probably the best edge rusher in the league right now.
He's right up there anyway, yeah.
Yes. So if that Cleveland defense can do what they did to the Packers to the Lions, that Cleveland team could win, and Falco can be a steady hand at quarterback.
Flacco,
but that's just
Falco.
It. Right.
Shane Falco played for the Sentinels.
But
Joe Flacco plays for the Browns.
If Flacco could put together a competent game at quarterback, then anything can happen.
Hey, Iron Man, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you having in here, buddy. Join us anytime. Doesn't need to be against, when we're playing each other, but,
yeah,
always like to have fans of the opposition.
Absolutely, especially the week of the game. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It adds a little bit more of a dynamic to the show. So
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I would like to see the Browns pull this win off against the Lions, I don't see it happening 2 weeks in a row. If that does happen, then people better start talking about the Browns then.
Mm-hmm.
So
No, I agree. I agree with you on that one. And if the Browns do pull off a win against Detroit this week, it makes me a lot more concerned for next week.
that's a great point. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Lions after saying all that, but I mean the Browns snuck up on the Packers.
Yeah. No, I think I'm with you on this. I think Detroit gets a win, as much as I hate to say it.
The Browns' offense is just shit, though. I mean that the Browns'
I
offense.
mean, again, like it was with Green Bay last week, Cleveland's only hope of beating Detroit is to shut down their offense.
Yep.
And even with that last week, that Browns had to block a field goal and get
Right now, Johnny Morton's calling some good ball for Detroit. So
yeah, I think he must have found Ben Johnson's playbook last week, but yeah. I had Detroit picked as missing the playoffs this year, but
Detroit's got some fucking talent on that roster, though.
they
You can't
do.
deny that.
I mean,
Gibbs and Williamson and Amon Ra, and that offensive line is still pretty
but
decent.
their defense is still suspect.
It is.
Aiden Hutchinson has
He's been
not
quiet.
played.
He's been quiet.
He's
Yeah.
been very quiet so far this year. I mean, they did give up a bunch of points, to Baltimore. They just scored more points.
That back end though looks pretty good though this year in Detroit with
yeah, I
DJ
mean,
Reed and Terrion Arnold. So
yeah, I mean,
and then you got your Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch back there. I mean that back end is
all right,
probably
yeah. Fuck
best
Kirby
player.
Joseph, but yes. But yeah, I got Detroit winning this game too, and them going to will it be 3-1 then?
Yep.
Game number 2, Sunday, 3:25 p.m. The Chicago Bears at the Las Vegas Raiders.
This is a pretty evenly matched matchup here, I think. This is a pretty evenly matched matchup. This could go either way, in my opinion. The Raiders have looked a little bit lost, though, under Pete Carroll.
The Raiders have looked lost for like the last 20 years, but
yes, since Rich Gannon retired. But yeah, I think this game could go either way, to be honest with you. But the way Caleb Williams played last week, I don't know. Are they starting to get it together over there in Chicago? I don't know. Is Green Bay the worst team in the division right now? I don't know about that, but I'm gonna go with, just because I don't want to pick an NFC North team. I could expect the Bears to win this game, but I'm gonna pick the Raiders.
yeah, I think, and
I think the Bears have more. I think the Bears have a lot to prove to really get me to the point where I'll be picking the Bears.
Yeah,
So,
and Bob makes a good point here. I think if this was being played at Soldier Field, I think it would be a different story. But Las Vegas, 3:25 game. It's more. I don't know if this is the game of the week or not, but
I don't think so.
I wouldn't
the
think
Bears
that it is.
week.
But I haven't looked at the schedule to see who else is playing on there. But I kind of look at Caleb Williams to have a little bit more of a Caleb Williams kind of game this week, because we've seen this in the past. He has one really good game and he follows it up with a real fucking clunker.
Well, how much can you keep Caleb Williams reeled in? I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
He was reeled in pretty well last week by Ben Johnson. Can you keep him reeled in like that, or is he going to go and try to play hero ball for 4 quarters?
Yeah, Jacoby Meyer's been balling out.
Trey Tucker's been balling out too. Trey Tucker over there in Las Vegas isn't a way to fuck with that receiver either, their aunt. So yeah. I think Tucker had like a 200 receiving yards last weekend.
Yeah, and
169 or something like that for Trey Tucker last weekend receiving, which is pretty.
And Geno Smith is going to get this figured out, I think, and
Geno's is a steady hand,
He's not flashy, he's not spectacular, but he's steady.
Right.
And like I said, if it was in Chicago with that god awful field and everything else, I would probably pick the Bears on this one. But being it's in Vegas, a little glitz and glamour and stuff like that.
Baltimore, Kansas City, game of the week, right now.
Okay. I'm going to pick the Raiders on this one, just because I don't trust Chicago.
I think Baltimore and Kansas City is going to. I know you're picking the Raiders on this one because you don't trust Chicago, but I'm stuck here on this. It's that Baltimore Kansas City game is going to be huge. Both teams have something to prove.
Well, yeah, Kansas City's looked terrible this year so far.
Yes. So that moves us into Green Bay versus
Green Bay at the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football.
This is a good game. This is going to tell us just how good Green Bay is, because if they lose to Dallas, I'm going to laugh so fucking hard.
Well,
they might as well just flush the rest of the season.
I don't know that it's going to tell us how good Green Bay is as much as it's going to tell us is how bad Dallas is. Dallas lost to Chicago last week.
Yeah.
Have a good one, Drew. We will catch you on the flip-flop.
Good luck with that tournament, bud.
Yeah.
I would love to see it, Gary. I would love to see Dallas go and beat Green Bay, and just really make it.
Green Bay has historically struggled in Dallas.
Yeah, it's going to be.
That was with Rodgers and McCarthy and all that other stuff, and I don't know how many times they've actually played there with cram it up your cram hole, but
I'm going to go with Dallas in this game just because they're at home, and Green Bay lost to fucking Cleveland of all teams last weekend in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with Dallas at home here. And if Dallas goes and wins this game, I can about imagine Dallas fans.
Yeah, and I don't care about Dallas, but this is a really tough call for me. I think Dallas is terrible. They absolutely are terrible.
That's what I'm saying. If Dallas goes and wins this game,
is there some additional stuff with Micah Parsons here where he's going to be a little extra fired up and goes and sacks Dak Prescott 17 times?
Williams has been good with Dallas this year.
He has. I don't know. It's a toss-up for me.
I'm going with Dallas just because they're at home.
Yeah, so. Just because Green Bay traditionally struggles in Dallas, I think I tend to agree with you on that one.
And you got all these pundits got Green Bay up towards one of the top 5 teams in the league still this week after losing to the fucking Browns.
Losing to Cleveland, yeah, which doesn't make much sense.
I don't know why all these guys are so far up Green Bay's ass.
Last 3 of my comments have been censored. We're not censoring anything, Norrisvia, so I don't know what.
Yeah, we're Vikings Uncensored. We don't censor.
Yeah, we let everything come through, so I don't know what happened. What's happening there, but
right. I don't know if it's the platform that you're watching on or what, but there should be no censorship going on our show at all.
Nope.
How ironic would that be if we censored our show and we're Vikings Uncensored?
We are now Vikings censored.
Right.
Oh, fuck YouTube. YouTube is. We still stream over there just because, but.
We stream all over the place. We stream on all the big fucking social medias. It's funny because right now our leading view count is coming from YouTube.
But YouTube refuses to monetize us. But yes. Anyway, Ant thinks the Bucks could beat Philly.
I'd love to be the first team to beat Philly. So
we'll Baker Mayfield is
pretty damn good, and that Emeka Egbuka is looking like the newest thing in the league right now. So Egbuka looks really good at receiver there in Tampa.
It would not surprise me if Tampa Bay beats Philadelphia, but
I'm not sold on Philly either yet, to be honest with you. So
yeah, Norris, just shoot me an IM offline here, and we'll talk about some of that stuff. I don't know.
I'm not sold on Philly. As far as this year goes, they had to beat the Rams with a walk-off blocked field goal. So I mean, they're beatable. I think Philly's
Yeah.
beatable. We've
They are.
went toe to toe with them before in the last few years. So I think they're
W-
beatable. So
Yeah, we've also got boat race by them too. So we had.
yeah,
But anyway, that rolls us to our, of course, the creme de la creme and the first game of the weekend, not counting the Thursday night game, of course. Minnesota Vikings versus the Pittsburgh Steelers tomorrow morning, 8:30 p.m.
need to
Central
win these.
Time. 8:30 a.m. Central Time. Sorry,
Right.
not p.m.
Need to win these winnable games right now.
Yeah.
We need to
Double.
win these winnable games. No more of those. Like I said, no more Atlanta games. No
No.
more what the fuck games.
No.
Like I said, we followed the Atlanta game with a game that I think before this season, a lot of people. Oh, nice.
I'm out of whiskey. Yeah.
I think beating Cincinnati kind of cancels that Atlanta game out because I think before the season, a lot of people had us, 50-50 on the Cincy game
Yeah, had us beating Atlanta, losing to Cincy. So yeah,
because they perceivably would have had Joe
Joe
Burrow.
Burrow.
So,
Yeah.
no more of those Atlanta games. Let's get those. Let's get that one shitter out of the rearview mirror, and let's go win some games. These winnable games, especially. I love that 30-10. That would be great.
Yeah.
Let's put the league on notice. Put the league back on notice and let them know that the Vikings aren't here to fuck around this year. So whether that be with Carson Wentz at the helm or JJ McCarthy at the helm, either way, that Vikings defense ain't nothing to fuck with, and the talent is there on offense to get things done.
Yeah.
And Kevin O'Connell, I trust. I'm gonna go.
Right.
I'm gonna go 31-13 Minnesota this weekend.
Okay.
Double digits at least a 2-touchdown win. I'm banking on it.
Yeah, I'm going Minnesota in this one too. This is a game with that gauntlet coming up after the bye. This is a game we have to win.
And we only
talked
gave up
about
that one touchdown on purpose.
right, and we talked about this earlier. The fact that as bad as Pittsburgh has been against most everything on defense this year, and I think week 2 with Carson Wentz starting, he's going to be a little more comfortable in there. Jordan Addison is back. Darisaw is a full go. Ryan Kelly is back. I think it's going to be I'm going to go like a 37-17 game, something like that.
Love it. I think coming out of that bye week, we're going to be, it's just kind of like last year, coming out of the bye week where we're completely healthy. But this team being overall healthy, 100%, is going to be huge coming out of that bye week. If,
and hopefully coming out of the bye week, we actually get our full offensive line to play together for the first time this year.
Right.
And Rodgers
is Hargrave a goal for tomorrow?
Hargrave's a full go. He's good.
Nice.
Rodgers gets sacked at least 3 times. That's actually feasible. And
I think he could get sacked more. Like, I am more confident in saying Rodgers gets sacked 5 to 6 times than what I was saying that Penix would get sacked 5 to 6 times a couple weeks back.
Because Rodgers can't move anymore like he used to.
No, but he does have that quick release still and can complete. So, like I said, you shut that quick passing game down, and it's done. It's done.
Skull State of Mind. Good evening. Welcome to the show.
First and foremost, shut down that short passing, quick passing game of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's it, fellas. Yep. Game over.
Chevy, this is a great point here. Vikings win by 2. We have still a 50-point or a 50 bonus this year. The highest score the Vikings have ever scored in a game is only 54 points.
That was against Jacksonville, wasn't it? Back in like the early 2000s?
No, that was 51. 54 was back in the 70s, I think it was.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I think the Vikings team is the most dangerous team in the league. I mean, they have the potential to be the most feared team in the league going forward.
Yeah.
So, especially with that Brian Flores doing all the wizardry on defense and having all this talent on offense, an abundance of talent on offense, and the rise of Jordan Mason.
Yes.
If you don't know who Jordan Mason is outside of the Minnesota Vikings fan base, you're going to know who he is by the end of the season.
To quote the great Snowman, let me introduce you to the boy.
Yes. And this offense needs to, like I said, start and end with Jordan Mason this weekend, especially.
Yep.
So,
All right. So with that, we've been going on here for about an hour and 15 minutes.
Norse.
Yeah.
You're funny.
Yeah. Well, if there's either more or less than 2, then it kind of gets weird. So we'll just kind of leave it.
3-3. Yes, I look for a
Yes.
monster day out of Addison tomorrow. But I look for a lot of guys to have some receptions. I think Wentz really delivers the ball all around.
You're going to spread it around.
Spreads it around well.
Yep.
Yes.
So with that,
I
again,
think Addison. Before you go out here,
yep,
I think
go ahead.
Addison has at least a 40-yard touchdown tomorrow.
All right. I like
Yep.
it. I like it. I like it a lot. But with
He's been
that, guys,
deep. Addison throughout the offseason has been getting a lot of these deep balls.
Yep.
So.
With that, guys, I want to thank you all for joining us. We're back to our regular weekend schedule. We will stay on this Friday to Saturday night showtime for the rest of the season now, barring any kind of unforeseen circumstances, but that's kind of going to be our regular show times again. So I want to thank everybody again for joining us for this is your pregame show for the 8:30 a.m. showdown with the Pittsburgh Steelers tomorrow morning. So make sure you guys set your alarm clocks, get the coffee pot rolling, and be ready to roll as the Vikings can hopefully bring home a victory in the city that they founded. And let's keep that undefeated streak rolling overseas. And with that, Brunswick, take us out of here.
Yep. Hey, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the show, especially on Facebook because it monetizes us. You just look Vikings Uncensored, you'll find us. Look for the logo.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, my brain likes to go blank at the worst times ever. So, I look forward to a good game tomorrow. An easy, I believe. I hate to say it like that, but an easy win. I look for us to go out and just take care of business tomorrow in Dublin. And with that being said, Skull, we'll see you next Friday. Next Friday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time.
All right. Have a good weekend, everybody. And we will hopefully be discussing a Vikings win next week. So,
Skull.
See you guys.